I'm making this video a few days after the incident, which may or may not provide some clarity or perspective on the event. However, Royal Blood have recently come under fire for taking their frustrations out on the crowd at Radio 1's big weekend in Dundee. The crowd wasn't as excited about the band as frontman Mike Kerr wanted them to be. While numerous news outlets and individuals on the internet have reported and commented on the matter, the verdict has been made and the band aren't winning anyone over following their recent behaviour. But I think that there's more to this story than what's been commented on already. First, let's look at the band and their frame of reference on the day. It was their third show of the year, following one show supporting Muse, who had just kicked off their European leg of their recent tour, and a show in Nottingham. These two dates were back-to-back, from Nottingham in the Midlands, down to Plymouth in Devon, and then up to Dundee in Scotland for Big Weekend. These two dates had crowds that came out to see the band specifically. The Nottingham show had them headlining, and they fit in well with Muse as the band influences them, they have a similar sound, and Muse fans tend to translate into being Royal Blood fans due to the fact that they have a similar sound. Now take that context and put it into a festival setting. You go from a dedicated audience to a mixed bag where parts of the crowd might suffer through one or two acts for the ability to see someone they actually like. And in this instance, it looked like people suffered through Royal Blood, then enjoyed them. Taking a look at the lineup for the day doesn't make things look better either, as the band were announced after the release of this image, so a late announcement for this means that there's less likely to be an audience for the band. Also, taking a closer look at the lineup in the image shows that there is a particular type of audience for what's being played at the main stage. I'd go so far as to say that Royal Blood differs the most from the whole group of artists, maybe loosely followed by Nothing But Thieves. So why am I bringing this up? Well, a big part of my view is that this is down to poor event planning and perhaps a failure to identify the market. Let's look at the whole lineup for the festival. Just focusing on the main stage, does Royal Blood really fit in with this crowd? The Independent says, quote, "The festival typically attracts a younger, pop-orientated demographic," link in the description below. To me, this comes off as event organisers and tour managers scrambling to fit a slot, regardless if it works or not. For the festival organisers, it's another act for the lineup, and for the tour manager of Royal Blood, it's more exposure and work for the band. What this means is that you may well end up with an audience scratching their heads as to who the band is and not knowing the songs. Turning to Twitter, and one of the two posts Radio 1 made about the band's slot shows some people stating that it wasn't the right crowd for the band, while others were calling out the band for being childish. Is this the worst instance of a bad choice for a festival? Easily not. Woodstock 99 may well hold that title. So what do I think? Should they have gone about showing their frustrations better? Arguably, it was just Mike taking it out on the crowd, as Ben Thatcher, the drummer, didn't verbally address the audience at all. Certainly playing it with more grace would have won them more favour, but the crowd just wasn't right for them, which I think set them up for failure here. Taking pops at the crowd, suggesting that only 9 of the audience members liked them, roping in a camera operator for support and clapping themselves was a trail that was never going to be popular. From what I can hear, due to how terribly live performances translate to being on YouTube, the sound quality is terrible, the vocals are too loud, which makes the band look awkward and uncomfortable to be on stage. So perhaps trying to watch any footage to see if it was a good performance or not isn't going to work out very well, or at least not give an objective view, which may make the band come off worse, as trying to blame their bad performance on the crowd. Now, every band has a bad gig. Some are worse than most. Was this a bad gig? Well, Royal Blood got paid, and the crowd would have seen artists that they actually wanted to see. And in the mindset that there's no such thing as bad press, Royal Blood are certainly facing a bigger audience right now than they were on Sunday.